Hi, this is Dr. Laura Conver, and today I just want to talk to you really quickly about trauma because we all go through traumatic events. It's just part and parcel with being alive. And I want to remind you how very resilient and healthy our bodies can be despite incredible amounts of trauma. In surgery, there's something called compartment syndrome. It's when you're being sewn back up and you're actually being sewn up too tight. And so because the body is swelling in response to being cut open and the incision, the swelling is what's actually damaging you. It wasn't the surgery that's damaging you. It's not the incision. It's not the sutures sewing you back up. It's your body's response to the incision and sutures. It's the inflammation, the body's response to the surgery that actually can kill. And I've actually seen patients die from, it's called compartment syndrome, where after surgery, there's so much pressure on the spot that was incised that the tissues die. So it's not that surgery itself killed that patient, but it's that the body's response created so much tension and so much inflammation and so much reaction and so much pressure that there was so much pressure that the blood couldn't even flow there anymore. It couldn't bring oxygen. It couldn't bring nutrients. It couldn't resolve and heal the incision and create fresh tissue. We should be able to have surgery and the surgery itself be a healing event, right? And then afterwards, we're healthier than we were before. I know after getting my appendix removed, I felt a lot better than I did when it was ruptured inside me and I was in pain. So the surgery itself can be a healing yet traumatic thing that happens. But then with our body's response, that makes the difference between whether this trauma, this surgery, is going to be a healing event, making us new and better, or whether this surgery is going to actually be potentially life-threatening because of this inflammatory response. So I was thinking about compartment syndrome and how that is a great example on a bigger scale of what we do with emotional traumas as well. We can survive incredible things. We can survive horrific things. We can survive traumatic things, and we can be healthy afterwards, and we can recover, and we can be in a new place, in a place that's even better than the place we were before. It's possible. It is a lot to do with our reaction to the event. It's not always the event itself. There are horrible events, unfair, hideous things that happen. But I know the human body and the human spirit and the human soul is very, very resilient, and it's made to be adaptive and resilient, and we can recover new footing in a different place that feels better than where we were at when we went through a traumatic event. If we don't do what I was describing to you, what the body can do at times, and develop this compartment syndrome where we develop all of this pressure and all of this inflammatory response to the trauma, it's our response to the trauma that actually hurts us and creates long-term health problems for the body. I'm reading up on tons of different medical studies about how the body physically responds to trauma and stress and illness in preparation for my trauma resilience and recovery class, because I know that we need some tools to, first of all, remember how strong and resilient we are. That's going to be half the courses, just study after study after study, reassuring you that the body is incredibly healthy and strong. The body can recover from incredible things that you don't think it can. We are innately always going to reset back to health and healing. There are other ways that we can handle this energy or the fear or the anxiety or the tension or the stress that comes with trauma. We can recover our health and maintain our health if we allow ourselves to process that energy differently than an inflammatory response. Like in that example I was showing with the compartment syndrome, that was just setting up an inflammatory response that just built on itself to the point where it clamped off its own blood supply and became necrotizing. We don't want that in trauma. We want to acknowledge the trauma that's happened, and we want to acknowledge the energy around that because it's very intense, and we want to have tools to process that energy in a way that doesn't create compartment syndrome, in a way that doesn't self-harm, in a way that long-term allows us to heal. So please join me in this trauma class. I really look forward to it. I think it's going to be very meaningful work, very important work, and hopefully restore your innate belief that you can go through traumatic events and still be healthy. Thank you so much. If you want more information about that class, you can just click the link below and it'll take you to a description and where you can sign up. Thank you.